Hi, I'm Rick from Superstitch. Today I'm going to show you how to do general maintenance on your sewing machine to keep it fit until you can get it into your repairman. Today we're going to show you on a Memorycraft 15,000 how to maintain it, and these tips here will show you how to use it on most makes and models of machines. The first thing we're going to do is take the ankle off, set it off to the side. Then we're going to take off the needle plate. Now the Memorycraft 15,000 has a snap off where you can get it off easy. If you have an older machine, you'll have either one screw or two holding it down. You'll want to take those off and then set that to the side. Then you want to take your bobbin out and also your bobbin case and set them to the side. Now what I like to use is a double-ended brush so that I can brush everything out and get it nice and clean. Check between the feed dogs, anywhere I see fuzz. Now, I've been getting calls where people will take the brush end and stick it down in, but you got to watch because sometimes there's sensors in there or there's springs that you could pop off. So just get the surface, brush it off, clean it out real good. I use ammonia and water, but I use 1 part ammonia and the rest will be water. Then what I do is spray it on a rag and just rub in there. Turn the hand wheel slowly. If you feel that you're worried about the needle, just take it out. But you just take and rub in there real good and get it nice and clean like that. So I'm rubbing my fingernail on there just to kind of lay it on there nice and easy and turn. Just watch that sharp point and just to feel if I feel any nicks. If that's good, then I can continue. If they do have a slight nick, I can take a fingernail file, just lightly rub it on there just to try to take that away. In the next step, we're going to use sewing machine oil. We usually get the Zoom spout oiler. To remember, we're using sewing machine oil. Do not use 3-in-1 oil unless you want to get a new machine. 3-in-1 oil has a grit in it and it can mess you up. So in these things we like to do every 3rd or 4th time that you clean to put 2 drops in the center to get that wick nice and oiled. Then I want you to do is take a dab and put it right there on your shuttle hook where the bobbin case sits. If you notice right here, the ledge, that's where you want to put it. You don't want to put it on top, but just a dab there and you'll be set to go. Then I want you to take your bobbin case and right here, and what you're going to do with that is you're going to spray that with the ammonia. And you're going to dry that up real good. If you need to use the brush, because sometimes you'll get a buildup on the inside, so you want to get that. And as I'm doing this, I am looking all over the bobbin case for any nicks where the needle might have hit on top, scrapes on the side where it might have jammed or anything. If they're just surface wounds, as we say, just take a fingernail file and file them. If you lose the tips, then you're done. But if little marks there or a scrape here, you can do that with a fingernail file. So when you get that all cleaned, you're going to stick that back in like this. Make sure the red and the red line up. And I got a little bit of play, and I turn the hand wheel once. Take that out, and if you notice, there's a little gleam of oil around that. And that'll quiet your machine down and also make it work better. One thing that I would want to recommend or not recommend is there's sprays out there that you use for adhesive for your fabric. I'm not telling you not to use it on the fabric, but keep it away from the machine. And then if you're using a lot of it through a lot of products that you're doing, this is what you want to do after you're done, because that stuff will work its way down in. And also with your embroidery people, make sure that you clean after probably, on average for embroidery, you want to clean that area after every 3 or 4 full bobbins that you wound, that you've used. Also for regular sewing, you could probably go 4 to 5 bobbins before you have to clean that. But then this stuff you may want to do more. Just don't spray around the machine. Then what I want you to do is we did that. Then what also thing too is if you have a Memorycraft 15,000, if you notice this part here going up and down, and if yours stays down, then you might have got that, there's a spring down there that'll need to be put back on. So that's why we don't want you pushing down in there with the brush. Also too is a lot of people want to use air cans to spray to kind of blow that out. Not that they're bad, but the more involved your machine gets, the more they're going to have electric eyes or eyes in there reading your thread, and that could cover them, and sometimes it'll spray a film, and that could mess you up too. So I don't recommend that. I'd rather you do this and then get your yearly service done at your local dealer. So then you're going to do the needle plate. You're going to do the same thing, spray it, and wipe it down. And as I'm doing that too, is I always take a look at the needle hole, or what we call the smile. I'll turn it this way so you can see the smile. The other way is a frown. You're going to look for nicks on there. And if there's any nicks, you can take, again, for you, the fingernail files and kind of file them down. Because if you get nicks on there, then that'll catch your fabric, or the thread may catch it. So when you get that all done, you've checked that out, and you want to check to make sure that that pops off. So you want to do that. Now this is good for any of these. It's called the full rotary machines. Okay, then I put the needle plate back on, pop it into place, and then I would put my ankle on, and then just take normal fabric and test. Right. When you're threading your machines, to always remember you're going to get 2 caps, and that's most brands. Small one for small end fabric or thread, and then also a big cap for the wider thread. Or if you have stands, then you can put them on that. But when you thread it and you bring that around and down, you're going to come up. If you're having trouble with your thread coming off when you're embroidering, then what we suggest is go, instead of right, left, we want you to go left, right, and make the figure 8, and make sure you're in the take-up lever. Those are where we see it, or you miss the take-up lever completely, then there's nothing to bring the thread back up. If you're doing a lot of embroidery, always clean this P-foot too, and then also look for nicks on the inside that the thread can catch. Because if you've had jam-ups where the needle broke, it could have hit this, or it could have hit the needle plate, could have hit those areas, so you want to kind of check that out. One other thing too that you want to check sometimes, if all of a sudden your tension in your bobbin seems off, then you want to just kind of look down in this area where you're bringing your thread. You're bringing your thread through here. Is just kind of open that up a little bit and kind of tweak and see if there's any fuzz buildup. But don't do it hard. Don't use a huge needle, just a fine needle or a pin just to flick in there to kind of clean that. The other thing that you want to do is, I like to do is take a thin towel, spray an edge. My presser foot is up and my disc, which is this area here, is the tension disc. That's what's putting pressure on your upper, and sometimes you get a buildup there depending on what kind of thread. You're going to bring that inside, and then I want you to floss up and down with the wet spot and then move it up and dry it, and you should be ready to go. And sometimes you'll see a hunk of fuzz come right out of there. To those of you that made it through the whole video, one thing that we like to say is us here at Super Stitches, we like to keep you in stitches.